This is a tough spot. Everyone had to stop talking and put their drinks down. Hi everyone, so my name's Emily Laurie and I'm the Managing Director of Future First Global. And I'm here tonight to ask for your support for a project of ours titled An Alumni Community for Every School in Liberia. I'd like to start with a story of two girls, Murata from Kenya in the blue and Rami from Liberia in the red. Two girls whose lives have been similar in many ways, but whose futures are looking very different. Murata and Rami are both currently in grade 4 of secondary school, which means next year is their final year in school. Murata grew up in Dandora, a slum in Nairobi, built on a rubbish site which her school overlooks. Rami grew up in Liberia during the Second World War, during which her school was closed, which again happened more recently during the Ebola epidemic. Both Murata and Rami want to be journalists. This is looking a lot more likely for Murata, who's being mentored by a former student who is now a journalist. The former student signed up to be part of Future First programme to give back to their old school by helping encourage students. As such, Murata has received advice, support in applying to being a journalist, and has been able to shadow her mentor who works in a paper in Nairobi. Murata is better informed and better prepared to become a journalist. In her own words, "I'm inspired to know someone who grew up here is now a journalist. I'm scared for my exams next year, but talking with her is going to make me work harder." In contrast, Rami has not spoken to anyone about being a journalist. She does not know what steps she should take, nor does she believe she can be a journalist, and she's never heard from anyone from her school or community going on to become a journalist. Murata is a student at Dandora High School in Nairobi, where Future First is working. Rami is a student at Jonathan Goodrich High School in Liberia, where we're planning to work. With your support tonight, Rami's dream of becoming a journalist will be made more possible. Around the world, there are currently 150 million young people without any form of work. This global youth unemployment crisis, which we see from the UK to Kenya and Liberia, is holding back young people from fulfilling their potential and holding back countries from their development. A major cause of this crisis is the mismatch between what children are learning in schools and what information and skills are needed to help them successfully transition from school to work. At Future First Global, we are supporting former students to give back to their schools to improve the links between schools and the workplace. Our model sees alumni giving back as careers advisors, mentors, governors, provider of work placements, volunteers and donors. Our mission is to build school alumni networks around the world which support children to transition from school to work, helping Murata, Rami and millions more like them get a job and reach their potential. Future First Global launched last year on the back of the success of the model in the UK over the last 5 years, and on the back of global research which showed the massive untapped potential for alumni to give back to their secondary schools. A model previously only utilised in universities and more elite schools, Future First focuses on government schools and thus enabling the social mobility of children who might otherwise not have access to networks which can support their knowledge and access to the jobs market. Our research, which was supported by the Open Society Foundation, was undertaken in 8 different countries. It showed that across region, culture, language and education system, there's a willingness of people to give back to their schools, but often no structure to enable this. Our polling showed that 52% of adults will give back to their schools, but only 2% have been able to. Along with the research, we've also been piloting the programme in 15 schools in Nairobi over the last year and a half. We recently reviewed these programmes and seen the amazing impact the model is having on making students work hard and inspiring them to go after the career they want. This learning is now informing our national scale-up implementation plan in Kenya, which we launched last week in partnership with the Ministry of Education. Furthermore, the learning has influenced the development of a new plan to scale up into Liberia. Our plan in Liberia, which we've developed with the Ministry of Education and a lead in-country partner called YOSEL, is to pilot Future First programmes in 20 schools in Year 1, starting in September this year. The schools range across 5 different counties, both rural and urban. In Year 2, we would scale up to 80 schools, and by Year 3, it would be integrated into the national education curriculum, and thus would be implemented in all 429 public schools in Liberia. The first year will see an average of 500 students per school benefiting from our programme of bringing alumni back to their former schools. With 500 students in these 20 schools, this means that 10,000 students could benefit from the first year of our alumni programming in Liberia. Tonight, I'm asking you to help start this work in Liberia. More specifically, the funds that you give will help fund needs assessments with children and teachers in schools, an implementation workshop and training for partners in Liberia. This work is all planned to take place over the summer. The schools are signed up, the ministry is supporting us, and our in-country partner is ready to start. This initial set of activities will only cost around £5,000 and will impact 10,000 children. Therefore, for every 50p you would give to us tonight, a child in Liberia could benefit from information and inspiration that will enable them to finish school and get a job. This is just the start of the programme. Any funding above £5,000 would go into the Year 1 implementation costs and beyond. The government in Liberia has signed up to funding 50% of the programme in Year 2 and 100% in Year 3, and as such, this is a very low-cost programme which could transform the lives of millions of young people. It's also just the start of our scale-up. We've had a lot of interest from other countries, including Rwanda, Burundi, and Botswana, and Sierra Leone. We currently don't have the funds and capacity to match this interest, and we're looking for partners and supporters to enable us to deliver on this global potential. To finish, I would like to take you back to Rami. This photograph and information we have about Rami comes from an interview undertaken by our partner in Liberia, who are raring to get started. Rami is one of the 10,000 children who will benefit if you enable us to start implementing in Liberia. Please give what you can tonight to help Rami and many more reach their potential.